Welcome to Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. What a beautiful Saturday morning it is. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. I mean, there was a ton of action last night down the farm. Patrick Copen almost threw a no-hitter. He took a no-hitter into the seventh inning, and it took a broken bat in the seventh inning to keep Patrick Copen from having a no-hitter. Obviously, you have the 3-home run day from Max Muncy. You have the walk-off. You have the huge game again from Andy Pages. We'll get into how good that he has been. You had the challenge system really kind of for the first time be a huge part in the difference in a game for the Dodgers in the ninth inning twice. No surprise Will Smith is good at that, by the way, because pitch selection is something that he's always been good at. Oklahoma City, for the first time since September, AAA Oklahoma City that is, for the first time since September of 2024, wins a game 1-0. Alex Makarowicz was huge last night for the Great Lakes Loons. So was Davis Chastain. Great Lakes Loons got a big win last night. And then also last night, the Ontario Tower Buzzers. As a matter of fact, let me get into this and let me verify this and so we can just kind of hit this right on top of the head, right off the bat. Last night, let me do this. Give me just a second here, and let me verify this. And yes, the Ontario Tower Buzzers lost last night, but the rest, the Tulsa won at the AAA level. Oklahoma City won 1-0. Tulsa won 5-2. Great Lakes won 3-2. So you had three throughout the system. Throughout the system, you had 4 one-run games. You won 3 of them. Ontario being the only one that lost. Matter of fact, Ontario took a 3-run lead into the last inning. Couldn't hold on to it. Gave up a walk-off in the bottom of the ninth inning to give up 4 runs and lose that game. But you had 3 one-run games, and you won 3 of those, and the big one being at the major league level. Tulsa then took care of Springfield 5-2. So it was a great night. Let's dive into the Dodgers game itself. So obviously you got to start with Max Muncy. And hey, I'm going to go ahead and put this link in the chat. Let me do this and let me get my business taken care of right now. And then we won't have any more clunky moments here. This is the link. That's the link. Let me type that in and we will get after it here in just a second. That's the link. Come join the show. There we go. Okay. Now we are absolutely ready to rock and roll here. So anytime you obviously have 3 home runs by one person, specifically Max Muncy, it's going to be very hard to lose. Anytime you have the performance that Andy Pages had last night, it's going to be hard to lose. And to be honest with you, the performance of Andy Pages not basically, but the entire season. It's, Andy Pages has been just absolutely fantastic. I'm not reinventing the wheel or telling anybody anything that they don't know. Andy Pages last night, 3 for 3, 4 RBIs, some huge hits. We'll get into them here in a minute. So just kind of behind the curtains, the walk-off obviously was the run, as Coach Holt says, the last play in the game. But there were so many huge aspects to this game. We'll get into the Tyler Glasnow outing. But in terms of offense, yes, the walk-off was the last play in the game. No, you don't win without the huge 3 for 3, 4 RBIs from Andy Pages. No, you don't win without the 4 hits from Max Muncy. Don't forget the single. Don't forget the single in the 8th inning in front of the home run for Andy Pages that led to the Dodgers having the lead. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had the lead going to the bottom of the ninth. And it's a totally different at bat if you're losing, like let's say the Dodgers were losing with 2 outs and nobody on versus being tied. That's an entirely different at bat to Max Muncy at that point. So while you don't win without the 3 home runs from Max Muncy, while you don't win without the 4 hits from Muncy overall, while you don't win without the 3 hits from Andy Pages and the 4 RBIs, really just kind of, if you go behind the curtains, the biggest reason why the Dodgers won is because they scored in 6 out of 9 innings. Whenever you are consistently putting pressure on the defense and you are consistently scoring and you score in 2/3 of your innings, you're usually going to win that game, especially, Edwin Diaz, the slider backed up on him point blank last night. The velo's not up. The slider backed up on him. So am I concerned in any way, shape, or form about Edwin Diaz giving up the lead last night? Absolutely not. You got to give Jock Peterson credit. He came back with 2 strikes after the overturn. He just served one up the middle. Credit to him. But then the slider backed up. Hey, last night, I'm going to say point blank, was totally on Edwin Diaz. I mean, kind of like the Tyler Glasnow, his fastballs were middle, and his curveballs weren't competitive. That's on Tyler Glasnow. I am always less worried about a performance specifically, and I'm never worried about a performance, but if you start talking about trends, if it is something that you just say, okay, well, this is what happened, this is why you got the results, that's on them, okay? And when they're great players, in this case, great pitchers like Edwin Diaz, great pitchers like Tyler Glasnow, you don't worry about it, not even for 1 second, because you're like, oh, well, that's on them. They'll fix that. No, that's why they're great. They're not great because they don't fix issues. They're not great because they don't eat it when it's on them. I promise you, if you're to walk up to Edwin Diaz right now and say, hey, are you happy with your velo? He'd say no. Are you happy that you backed up a couple of sliders last night, including the game-tying home run and base hit? Not game-tying home run, but the game-tying base hit and the home run before that? He'd say no. He would say, that's on me. That's what great players do. That's why they fix it moving forward. That's why I'm never worried about it. Whenever I'm able to evaluate a situation and go, this is what happened. That's on them. They usually don't do that. I bet they don't moving forward. That gives me comfort. So just give Jock credit. He shortened up, sometimes we talk about Ryan Ward or some of these swings. You talk about, hey, that's Jock Peterson because we're talking about a guy that's basically swinging out of his shoes. That's kind of what Jock Peterson has turned into as he's gotten older. But just give Jock Peterson credit. He's playing his former team. What you call that is Jock Peterson played baseball. You have the 3 true outcomes where you try to walk, strike out, or home run, or hit a home run. Fine, you're playing the odds. But shortening up with 2 strikes, trying to hit the ball up the middle, trying to just get on base in any way you can, that's playing baseball. So what Jock Peterson did last night, give him credit, he played baseball, right? I mean, sometimes you got to give the opponent credit. Corey Seager hits the home run. 2 guys that obviously were big parts of the Dodgers, the World Series, the first World Series the Dodgers got, and really just kind of the generation prior to this one, big parts of those generations of Dodgers. They were motivated to come back to Los Angeles. Jock Peterson shortens up, nails one up the middle. Corey Seager, although he didn't come through in the 9th inning, thank goodness, he hit the home run earlier in the game. And so, not at all whatsoever. Those 2 have been great players throughout their careers. Great players show up whenever they have things that motivate them like that, whenever the limelight gets big. So not surprised at all that those 2 guys came through last night. So just kind of, looking at the situation, Carter ambushed a fastball on the inner half, and lefties like that led to the home run there. So just kind of some self-inflicted wounds there. Again, not worried about it. Give the Rangers credit. The rally backup after the home run was, a lot of times after you hit a home run, it's hard to rally back, especially if you make an out right after that. And so you got to give the Rangers credit for rallying again after hitting the home run and taking advantage again. Most of Major League hitting is just taking advantage of mistakes that pitchers make. If pitchers execute the way that they want to execute, you're not going to hit it. So really what you're kind of waiting on as a Major League hitter is a couple of things. One, your pitch. If you get your pitch, even if it's a pitcher's pitch, like a pitch down and into a lefty, if you get a pitch that's in your hot zone, hit it, you can't miss it. And or if you get a mistake from a Major League pitcher, you can't miss it. And the Rangers didn't, so give them credit for that. So the one thing that I will say that probably with Edwin Diaz concerned me the most, I don't want to say frustrated, but concerned, is that, when a pitcher delivers at home, from the time that they move till the time that the ball, that they deliver the ball and it hits the catcher's glove, you want them to be about 1-3 to home plate, because if a pitcher's 1-3 to home plate, then a catcher is 2.0 pop time to second. You're talking about a 3-3 in terms of a runner trying to steal a base has to be lower than 3-3 to steal a base. Edwin Diaz on the stolen base last night was 1-7 and closer to 1-8 than he was 1-7. You're not ever going to be able to throw guys out when your pitcher is almost 1-8 to the plate. Will Smith, we know he has a good throwing arm. He throws out a lot of runners. Not even Will Smith is going to be able to not throw runners out. He's not going to be able to let's see. Pa has at bats have been amazing. Yeah. He's not even going to be able to come close to throwing a runner out whenever your catcher or whenever your pitcher is 1-8 to the plate. So that's something that I would like to talk about. We have Austin Brubaker in the house, though. Let me go ahead and bring in, let me go ahead and. Okay, Austin, I got you right now. Let me make sure I have your audio, and then I will bring in your video, and then we will, let me go this over here. Let me flip it over. Let me go ahead and get your video here, and we will get after it. Okay, there we go, and I'm not sure I have your audio. Austin is en route, I'm assuring, to a game right now. So there we go. Austin, what's up, man? Yep, hold on. I got you muted. There we go. Go one more time. There we go.
Casey, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Good. En route to the Loons game? Is that where you're headed?
Yeah, so I am currently in Comstock Park, Michigan, which is the place where the West Michigan Whitecaps are. I actually just got done finishing eating lunch at a Panda Express. That was my lunch that I had today. It's about 10 minutes away from the stadium stuff, so noticed that you were going live at around noon-ish, so decided to hop in for a little bit, especially after that win for the Dodgers last night. Loons won last night as well. Good day in the system yesterday.
Okay, tell us about the Loons game. Let's get some video up on the board, and we will talk about the Loons. You were there, so give us all. Let's get that recap done, and let's get it going. That way, we'll just get that part of the down the farm going right now. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so just a little bit of context for people who are maybe unfamiliar with the Midwest League in the setting. West Michigan was the best team in the Midwest League last year. And they weren't just the best team in the Midwest League. They were probably
both times, first and second. Yeah.
Yes, they were probably the best team across minor league baseball overall. And they had Clark, they had McGonigal, Briseño, a couple of really high talented Tigers prospects last year. They got better afterwards, won the Midwest League championship. And going into the season, this was one of the series that was really circled on the Loons calendar, because this was a chance for the Loons to be able to make a statement early in this season, trying to rebound from where the last season kind of ended. And so you entered the game last night. The Loons had taken 2 out of the first 3 games of the series. And it was a close, tight run game that relied upon the bullpen to be able to carry a heavy load of it. Logan Tabling, awesome to be able to start off. His stuff is really good. Backing a little bit more, building it up into a starter type role.
Let me get some tabling up on the board here while you talk about him. It takes me a minute to get to their files. So let me get to Logan Tabling. Talk about him, and we will address his out there. There's his outing right there last night. There you go, Austin. Talk about Logan Tabling. Tabletop is what he calls himself.
Oh, yeah. Table was awesome with what he's able to do. His movement on a lot of his pitches, especially that I don't necessarily know if that's a slider, curveball. There's some sort of movement.
Definitely, he's got a slider and a curveball. Yes.
Yeah, both of those pitches are able to move really effectively, and you see that swinging mess that he's able to get right there. Just some really solid stuff. He also, at least out of the bullpen, had some really solid velo as well. Good pitchability. Logan Tabling has, and he's just growing with confidence. Came very end of last season to Great Lakes, didn't get a chance to be able to watch his outings prior to that, but just his ability to grow in confidence as he goes on, and be able to be utilized in any type of role, whether it's a late inning, high leverage 1-run game, or to start an actual game. It's really encouraging to be able to see. He's got very good movement. He's somebody to be able to watch in the system that, for a Great Lakes Loons pitching staff, has so many names to be able to go ahead and watch out for.
That curveball is huge, by the way. He's a young man out of Illinois, University of Illinois, and I believe I don't want to say for. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, so Table took the first 3 innings, gave up 1 run. The Loons ended up rallying in the 3rd inning, I believe, and just had really good inning of just being able to generate hits. They were facing a pretty solid pitcher.
Yeah, I'm sorry, he was undrafted, though. That's what I wanted to say. I wanted to get that confirmed. Yep. Logan Tabling was an undrafted free agent, just like Jack Dreyer, right? Okay, here we go.
Yes. So Table takes the opener. Loons score a couple of runs, being able to get some base hits. A lot of from the top of the order, able to do that. Guys like Chuck Davalon or a Mike Sirota was able to get a hit, and a Logan Wagner and a Jose Mesa, which, by the way, Jose Mesa, his start to the season, I don't know if you've had the chance to be able to watch a whole lot of what his numbers are.
I've covered him 3 different times.
He's been awesome. I think he already has 10 hits on the season. He's just been a hits machine early this season. Really encouraging to be able to see for him. Playing a lot of first base right now, has had some experience in the outfield also. Just a smooth right-handed swing that's just able to get a lot of base hits right now.
Very simple, isn't it? Really direct to the ball. Simple. Nothing really can go wrong with it. Yeah,
it's very simple, but it's very effective in what he's able to do, and that's what's been encouraging. So Loons scored 3. West Michigan ended up getting a 2nd run, and then this is where the bullpen really was able to lock down, and there's 3 guys that locked it down. Let's start off first with Miles Cava, who came in right after Jocelyn Gonzalez had a rough performance, but got a big double play to get 2 outs in the end. And Cava comes in with runners on and just instantly starts to be able to dominate. I think the guy with a runner on third in the 4th inning, 3-2 game, potential tying run at third, ends up getting the strikeout. Cava is a really good left-handed pitcher. Yeah. I was shocked that the Great Lakes Loons got him back after he was probably their best pitcher down the stretch in the 2025 playoff postseason chase that he had. Cava just really effective left-handed side of the mound, able to move a lot of his pitches well, and just really is a good effective pitcher is what Cava is.
You want to know another thing about Miles Cava, just like Logan Tabling?
What's that?
Undrafted free agent. I mean, the Dodgers are amazing at finding these guys, right?
Oh, that's absolutely right. Let's go to somebody who was actually drafted, and somebody that I was not really paying a whole lot of attention to until he started the season, had the good outing on Sunday, and then yesterday happened. Davis Chastain.
I got to see Davis in the regional last year. Oklahoma State went to Georgia, and OSU played Georgia, so I got to see Davis there, so I had a head start on everybody. His swing and miss stuff is ridiculous. And he is that alpha male, man.
His swing and miss stuff was electric coming out of the bullpen. Yep. He's got a little bit of a slow build up to his. He kind of hovers on the mound, but then when he actually goes, he's able to generate, at least to this point in his Great Lakes Loons tenure, a lot of swing and miss, able to locate his stuff, and he just pitches with a lot of confidence right now. That's Davis Chastain. I was super impressed. Watch out for him because his numbers with the Dodgers minor league system so far have not just been good with Great Lakes. They were good last year when he first went during his brief appearances that he had good swing and miss stuff that he's able to generate. Keep an eye out for him.
It's not a fluke, I promise you. He's that good.
No. And then they turn it over to Alex Makarowicz and Matt. That's the thing is his stuff when he's able to be in the zone is very, very difficult to be able to hit because it's high velo type of stuff. It's wicked. He's somebody who generated a 36% strikeout percentage at the minor leagues last year, and that is no joke. And that comes from a lot of swing and miss. And if he's able to lock that in, be effective in the zone, which he was yesterday, you're going to see somebody that has really high upside. It's the same thing that happened with Ronaldo Yeen, when he came into the game on Thursday. When it's on, it's really on, and it's super impressive. And having somebody like that, and that stuff is ridiculous. You combine that with upper 90s velo on his fastball. And
hold on, Austin. AMAC. You're talking about Makarowicz. AMAC.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, him and I messaged yesterday. In spring training a couple weeks ago, he hit 101. AMAC hit 101. This guy you're watching right here. How about that?
Yeah, that's
and
good.
By the way, Ronaldo Yeen, who you just mentioned, hit 103 in his last outing. Ronaldo Yeen did. 103. I mean, that's some electric arms coming out of that Loons bullpen, right?
That is some electric arms coming out of the bullpen, and that is especially in a Midwest league where, I mean, it's high type of baseball. That's going to have a chance to, if they're in the zone, be able to dominate, and especially if they have secondary pitch to be able to go on it. Just so impressed by both of them. And with the reason why I build up that context leading into this type of game is because in this type of game where the bullpen had to come in and preserve for 5 innings, basically a 1-run lead, this was a very difficult game for the Loons to win last year.
It was, yeah.
And this year, the bullpen is pitching with a lot of confidence right now, and they were able to take this game to take a 3-1 series lead in a 6-game series against the defending Midwest League champion to move to 5-2 on the season. Just really encouraging stuff. But the bullpen for Great Lakes and just the overall pitching staff that they have if you're looking for units to be able to watch this season, circle the Great Lakes Loons pitching staff, because they have so many talented, good arms coming up through the system. And this is going to be part of that next wave that comes up through the Dodgers organization and Dodgers minor leagues.
Talk about somebody to be excited about. Patrick Copen took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. He was, I think, like 75 pitches. I don't think Eric Wedge would have allowed him to go 9 and go to 100. It would have been an interesting decision, but it was funny because, not funny, it was kind of sucked. His no-hitter was broken up on a broken bat in the 7th inning, which absolutely sucks. But literally as soon as that happened, Eric Wedge came and got Patrick Copen. Patrick Copen, man, you talk about just really on helium right now as a prospect. Always been the toolsy guy. He gained about 20, 25 pounds last year. That slider you're seeing there, paired with the 97 and 98, that's about a 98 right there, paired with the extension and just all the things he's able to do to bully a hitter. You know, I mean, that's a ball right down the middle. That Springfield, like West Michigan, was easily the best team in the Texas League last year.
Yes.
They won both the first half of the season and the second half, just like West Michigan did. And by the way, you're in Hammons Field. You've been there, Austin, which is a launching pad. And he just went out there and just didn't even allow them to even get it on the barrel on pitches that really were just kind of right in the middle of the zone a lot. That tells you right there he's able to bully guys in the zone. Patrick Copen, a no-hitter going into the 7th. The only reason he didn't have a no-hitter was because a broken bat. Wow.
Yeah, just incredible stuff. Do you have his triple slash, or do you have not his triple slash? Well, that's for hitters, but do you have what the overall performance of what he had? I think it was 6 1/3 innings. How many strikeouts or so that he had on the day? Because the reason why I'm bringing that up is because in his first outing that he had, I believe he had 8 strikeouts on the day. Just really good swinging miss stuff that he's able to generate. And in the game of baseball that we have, swinging miss is absolutely huge.
Yes.
Patrick Copen, I think, has the stuff to be able to get swings and misses. He's got the upper 90s velo that you had mentioned, just really good off-speed stuff. And as he continues his development, look, part of his development is going to come from limiting some of the walks, being able to be effective inside of the zone. And when he's able to do that like he was yesterday, I think you can see just a real steps for Patrick Copen as he makes his way up to the upper levels of the minor leagues, to where we're going to have conversations about what it's going to take for Patrick Copen to be what it's going to look like for Patrick Copen to be able to make that jump to the AAA and then eventually to the major leagues.
Patrick Copen, 6 1/3 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 9 strikeouts, 4 walks, which goes to the walk. That's the walk part of it. In Double-A, he's been able to get away with that because it's Double-A. We'll see if 4 walks you could do that at the major league level. But so far in 2 outings for Patrick Copen, 11.1 innings. He has yet to give up a run. He is 2-0 on the season. He's given up just 3 hits in 11.1 innings, 17 strikeouts in 11.1 innings, 7 walks. You need to reduce that. Average against Patrick Copen is 0.81, and his whip is 0.88. So the walks and hits per inning, you want it to be below 120. He's more than half below that, or he's about right, a little bit above half below that. So despite the 7 walks and 11.1 innings, his walks and hits per inning still are very, very good. So Patrick Copen on the year has been dominant.
Yeah, he's been dominant. That's 17 strikeouts in the 11 1/3 innings, however long the innings actually are. Just really impressive for Cope. Excited for him and his 2026 season as far as the steps that he can take. This is a really good pitcher that the Dodgers have.
It absolutely is. Okay, is there anybody? Actually, let's get to. I know you probably could do a little bit of this off the top of your head. You don't have your computer obviously in front of you. Let's talk about Kenny George. I love the game of Kenny George and the way that he has started this year. Here's what I like. You know, he's been slapping that ball on the left. Nope, not this time. He pulled a ball down the right field line. I don't care if he hits home runs, because every time he hits a single, it's a double, because he's going to steal second base. So just think of every single as a double. If you added every single into the slug part of things, his OPS would be over 1,000, right? And you kind of can, because he steals so many bases. So I like the fact that he's been slapping the ball to left. He pulled this ball to right field. That kind of completes the circuit of the type of offensive player he's turning into. I don't want Kendall George to change it. This is what he is. Be the best version of what you are. I know other people might want him to hit the ball in the air a little bit more, maybe hit some home runs. I don't. I want him to play this game right here.
Yes. Kendall George is one of the unique players that you don't want to fit into some type of stereotype, because he is that unique of a player that you want him to be able to lean into his very specific strengths. And obviously his carrying tool is his speed. His speed is unmatched. It is special beyond belief, and that is going to play a lot. And that puts the defenders in such a unique position, because you can see right there, the infielders, which I know it has to do with runner on third, less than 2 outs, opportunity to be able to score a run or throw a runner out. But the defenders are in a little bit of a pickle, because they want to be able to play in. But if you play in, Kendall George has the ability to be able to hit it over the defenders' heads, and he's gotten really good at that, especially at the opposite field, being able to hit it over the shortstop's head, being able to hit it over the third baseman's head. And the defenders can't creep in too much, because if it gets past them, Kendall George is going to be running for days, and that puts the defenders in a position where they don't really necessarily know how to optimize that. And Kendall George, with his bat to ball ability, which has grown exponentially as he has grown through the minor leagues, and is one of the things that has to be able to maintain as low as it possibly can for him to have the maximum amount of success. If he can limit the strikeouts, if he can put the ball in play, Kendall George can do some absolutely special stuff. He's off to a great start to the season in Tulsa, and Kendall George is just a difference maker on the field. It's just so special to watch.
So who did you compare him to the other day?
So the person that I compared him to, which is where there's going to be a lot of comparisons to, is Chandler Simpson of Tampa Bay. The reason
so you know who I'd rather compare him to? I'd rather compare him to Ichiro. That's who I want to be.
Ichiro? That's totally fair. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Ichiro obviously was super speedy back in his day, able to just spray hits all around the ballpark, all around the diamond. That would absolutely be the profile type of player that you would compare him to, just profile-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, another guy that you got to see a lot that I think most even really good prospect guru type people that they might not even know who this is, Kelvin Ramirez. Kelvin Ramirez is another guy that can hit 100. He has a huge slider. He is a huge dude. Now, again, like Alec McCarrich, like Patrick Copen, like all these, like every single power arm the Dodgers have had in the last 10 years since they've been in Oklahoma. Got to throw strikes, right? But Kelvin Ramirez is a guy I think Dodgers fans need to at least pay attention to, because if he refines his efficiency in the strike zone, this is a guy with really big stuff. I mean, you can see he's a big dude here. So can you give a little bit about what you remember about Kelvin? See, there's that big slider about Kelvin Ramirez.
Yeah, it's the upper 90s fastball. It is the slider. It is just his ability, because I had the chance to see Kelvin Ramirez in 2024, and he was one of the high leverage arms for them. Lucas Webb early in the season was the high leverage guy. Kelvin Ramirez was kind of second to him, but as the season went along, Kelvin Ramirez really stepped into that mold to be that high leverage type of arm, and he's got that potential in him. You mentioned it. It's the ability to be able to throw strikes consistently. That is the thing that Kelvin needs to be able to make improvements on in order to have the maximum number of success. But the Dodgers have so many guys in the minor leagues that throw with upper 90s, to where if something is able to unlock with them, then there can be a lot of success that a lot of these guys can have. And I think there's going to be some guys that it is able to unlock with them. And Kelvin Ramirez, you have to be able to take note of him, because he is part of that group of guys that has ridiculous type of stuff. It's about how can the Dodgers be able to work on different things to be able to help maximize the skill sets that he has and maximize the consistency that he's able to do. Yes.
He'll go on like a month and a half heater and like not give up any runs. I mean, because he's on, but then he'll be off and then he won't get through a single out. You know, it's just so check in on Kelvin Ramirez. I'm not telling you he's imminent to the major leagues or anything. I'm not telling you he's polished. I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you his stuff is big. He's a huge dude. Check in on him. Check on the drillers. If Kelvin Ramirez throws, just look and see how many walks he has. You know, that kind of deal. Look at his walk rate, and that'll tell you whether he's progressing or not. Another guy that I root for did not have a good year at all last year offensively. Good to see Griffin Lockwood Powell have a couple of good nights in Hammondsfield. This is a big dude out of South Dakota. Went to Central Michigan University. He's the all-time RBIs leader at Central Michigan. He catches. He can play the outfield. He can play first base. And he is the best dude I think I've ever met in my life. This is Griffin Lockwood Powell. I got to meet his dad last summer in Tulsa, too. Awesome people. Absolutely root for Griffin Lockwood Powell. He is repeating in Tulsa. I don't want to bring him up because necessarily he's like imminent to the major leagues or anything. I just want to bring him up because if you're a Dodgers fan, you need to appreciate Griffin Lockwood Powell for all the things he does for the organization. Just kind of allowing him to have a good minor league system. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Locke is awesome. Locke's a super, super good dude. There is ability that he has in his bat. Obviously, the versatility, being able to play catcher and be able to move around different portions of the ballpark are one of the things that is giving him opportunities continual going forward. And last year, even with the offensive struggles that he has, I would think it was closer to league average-ish on the WRC plus. I don't remember exactly what that was, but there is still stuff that is in there for GLP, and he is still fighting for an opportunity at the big league level at some point. It just comes through. Take advantage of the opportunities that you had. Great to be able to see him hit the home run yesterday.
Okay, let me ask you about one guy here. We're going to cover a couple more guys, and I think that'll probably do it for the Down the Farm for as far as with Austin here. We'll get into a little bit of Dodgers talk, however long Austin has. Okay, Eduardo Quintero, any concerns about him? I know slow start, small sample size. You don't want to freak out about small sample sizes. Got a big hit yesterday, no doubt about that. But Eduardo Quintero, he's had swing and miss issues in the past. So, are there issues with? Is there anything to be worried about here with Eduardo Quintero?
I'm still preaching patience with Eduardo. So the biggest thing with him right now is there's a little bit of swing and miss that is happening in his game. A lot of times he is finding himself in counts that are not advantageous to him as a hitter too. One of the things that Eduardo has done throughout his minor league tenure is he's been great at being able to draw a ton of walks, and that is because he's been good offensively and has been a little bit more of a threat. And right now, opposing hitters have been getting up early in counts for Eduardo, and that's putting him in holes and putting him in situations where he is just not able to excel as much. I think with Eduardo, just be patient with a lot of that stuff. Allow him to be able to make adjustments, and as soon as he starts hitting again, I think that's when pitchers are going to start to shy away.
And it's cold, man. I don't think he likes cold weather.
It is freezing out. There's been some days that have been absolutely cold. What's fascinating is both him, Eduardo Quintero, and Mike Sirota haven't offensively produced the numbers that you would expect them to be able to produce, because those are two of the pieces that are going to be in the main force of the Great Lakes Loons offense. And yet the Loons have been winning a whole lot. With Sirota, he is hitting the ball hard. He's getting no luck whatsoever with any of the batted ball that is being put into play right now.
That'll change.
That will change. Be patient with both Mike Sirota and Eduardo Quintero, both tremendously impactful bats that last year showed themselves to be really good producers. They will be at some point, and it will come at some point. Maybe it's when the weather heats up a little bit.
What in the heck's going on with Adam Siranowski? This is a guy that I said had a chance to make his major league debut because he's going to be Rule 5 eligible at the end of this year. So, hey, do the Alex Freeland, Edgardo Enriquez thing. First two outings. Hey, I love Adam. If he watches this, I hope he doesn't get mad at me, but you got to call a spade a spade. The first two outings have just been completely sideways for him. And it's not anything, even back when he was with Dayton in the Cincinnati organization. We've never seen this from Adam. Of course, we always say it, that double-A jump is big.
Yep.
Boy, what's going on with Siranowski here? Is it just kind of, hey, 2 games, don't worry about it, or what?
Yeah, it's concerning. So I have not had the chance to be able to watch in depth Big Ski's actual games. But from just some of the outside numbers, it seems like there's a lot of command issues that he has with it and ability to throw strikes. And just with Big Ski, when he came to Great Lakes last year, he was able to get a lot of swing and miss, and that jump from high A to double A is a big one because the hitters are a little bit more selective at their approach. And
that continues as you move up. That's one of the big adjustments.
That is one of the big adjustments that he's going to be able to have, because he's going to have to find different ways, not just to rely on being able to get chase pitches. He's going to have to find ways to be able to find swing and miss inside of the zone. And that's one of the things we're going to be looking at. Be curious to hear some of your thoughts on what are the things that you have noticed specifically from watching Big Ski's games. Just
it's a transition to double A. And, hey, that pitch that you were getting swing at last year, you're not, and it's an adjustment. And, Adam Sironowski, this is the quote that you always use in baseball: talk to me in June. If this is still happening in June, we'll be able to evaluate it. At this point, I don't even want to think about it anymore. I had to bring it up because we talk about down the farm, and he's one of the biggest prospects we talked about all off season, and his first two outings have not been good, so I felt like we had to bring it up. But beyond that, I don't even want to make anything out of two outings. And I'll tell you, this is a guy, we're going to talk about him, and then we'll bring it back over for a down the farm. Christian Romero had a tremendous outing for AAA Oklahoma City last year. You got to see him a lot at High A Great Lakes. Matter of fact, 2 different times Romero jumped straight from Great Lakes to AAA Oklahoma City. During that time, he really struggled at the AAA level. He's continued to grow up right in front of our eyes. You see that splitter/slider type pitch. The fastball's been good. The movement, the location, all good. Last night, Christian Romero gave the Oklahoma City Comets 6 really, really good innings, and they won the game 1-0. Matter of fact, so he went 6 innings scoreless. Christian Romero, really great outing last night. Now, his first outing wasn't great, but last night was.
Yeah, but Christian Romero, he does just about everything that this organization asks him to. He's taken assignments where he spent a lot of time at Great Lakes because that's where the competition that he has. And then, as you had mentioned, he jumped right up to AAA Oklahoma City because there's needs that the major league team has, and they needed somebody to be able to help fill in an actual role. And with Christian Romero yesterday, obviously the Comets won 1-0. Romero played an instrumental role. It's not overwhelming stuff that he has, but he's able to be crafty and how he's able to approach some of the off-speed stuff that he has is really solid. Christian Romero just does everything that this organization asks him to do, and when he does well like this, especially with last year spending a good chunk of time at Great Lakes, great to be able to see for him.
Absolutely. Okay, and I also wanted to mention that Noah Miller, Emil Morales has been really good with the Ontario Tower Buzzers. Joe Andrew Vargas is back with them. Brendan Tunick is off to a huge start. Chase Harlan's off to a great start. That Ontario Tower Buzzers team is loaded. Jesus Tierro has been fantastic. And, I've got 3 or 4 messages out to nail down exact mixes. We will cover these young international pitchers with Ontario when I actually get their mixes down, so I can give you a little bit better evaluation of them. So I wanted to get that out there. Okay. Challenge system last night, Austin, was huge in the 9th inning. No surprise, because Will Smith has been one of the best players in the major leagues at knowing what pitches to swing at. So I thought that was really cool. Your thoughts on the Dodgers game last night?
Yeah, the Dodgers game, obviously, a lot of back and forth in that actual game. You mentioned the challenge that Will Smith had late in that game to be able, during the 9th inning, when things started to fall apart on Edwin Diaz, being able to get that strikeout. That was really big for the Dodgers. And just overall, the Dodgers offense has so many different ways that they can go ahead and attack you. With the game last night, Max Muncy, 4 hits, 3 home runs on the day. Huge. Andy Pages and the growth that he's been able to showcase with the insurance that he was able to provide late in the game, but also the go-ahead double. There are just so many different ways.
And how about the singles by Teo and Max in front of that home run and the double? You forget about those bloops in front of the blast, right? They're huge.
Yes, and it comes from a there are so many different people that can win individual matchups. And this team, I think, is buying collectively together and just doing the little things right to be able to help you actually win the game, to do everything that you possibly can. And the talent is just overwhelming. Max Muncy entered the game yesterday with an 80 WRC plus and left it with a 163 WRC plus because he has that type of potential to him. Andy Pages obviously is tremendously valuable for this Dodgers team. And you just go up and down. And those are your, 7-8 hole hitters when your lineup is completely healthy. Last night, it was the 5 and the 7 hitters as part of this lineup. There's so much depth on this Dodgers offense that they're able to showcase. They are one of the best offenses. They are the best offense in the game of baseball. The most complete depth, the ability to be able to hit for power, the ability to just be scrappy on the field as well is just really impressive to be able to watch. Last night on the pitching side, Tyler Glasnow hung a couple of pitches, made mistakes.
Glasnow wasn't good. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He was not good.
Yep.
His fastball was okay. I mean, he threw it for a strike a lot, and he especially threw it for a strike first pitch, but the curveballs that weren't strikes weren't competitive enough to get swing and miss. That's to me, that's the difference with Glasnow.
And you look at the 2 pitches that that ended up being home runs against him, dead middle of the strike zone.
Yeah.
Dead center of
so
the
it was
zone.
more the fastball wasn't control. His control of his fastball was good. His command, meaning where he located his fastball inside the zone, was bad, and then his control on his curveball was bad.
Yeah. So that wasn't. I mean, those were costly mistakes that ended up allowing 4 runs. Edwin Diaz ended up having the blown save yesterday, but just the resiliency that the Dodgers teams had, even after all of that, was really impressive. And also, Tanner Scott had a really good outing during the game yesterday. That was impressive to be able to watch for him. The Dodgers are incredibly loaded. They're incredibly talented. Up and down the system, they are just so good. This was one of the things that I had tweeted out yesterday. I think WRC plus wise for this Dodgers offense, I think they are first now in Major League Baseball. They're either first or second. If you look at the minor league side, and I know it's early for minor league baseball, but you look at all 4 affiliates for the Dodgers at the minor league level, I believe they have a 122 WRC plus. That is third across minor leagues. The Dodgers offense, both at the major league level and at the minor league level, are just hammering baseballs across the board. They're hitting for power, they're hitting for impact, and I think that's going to be something that is going to be able to sustain itself with how much depth this Dodgers team has.
Jack Sawinski got a home run last night. That was good to see with Oklahoma City. He had been massively struggling. Is Sawinski a guy that's a player? I think Fitzgerald's a player. I think I definitely think Fitzgerald's a player. Maybe Siani. Siani's not hitting the ball at all right now. And maybe Sawinski. So it was good to see Sawinski get a hit.
Yeah, so I'll address Siani first. I think there is one very particular role that they're keeping Siani for, and that's for the Justin Dean role for the postseason. I think there's one.
But Pages is above average on. I mean, he's a good defender, right?
Yes, and I totally get that. I don't, and this is more of a, perhaps it's additional insurance for that, because you could also make the argument that, oh, okay, we don't need Andy Pages as defensive replacement for him. And I totally agree. I would not replace Andy Pages as a defensive player. Yeah. But if you're talking about Teoscar Hernandez, what is going to be the best role to be able to fill for him defensively? And what do you look at for this team and organization as far as being the best defensive replacement for him? And then I think that's where the organization wants to later in the season be able to make an evaluation for a postseason roster, which, remember, for a postseason roster, especially early in the playoffs, you're going to have 14, 15 position players on your actual roster. I think that's when they want to have the conversation of Michael Siani for his defensive attributes, not for his offense. I don't think they would ever give Michael Siani a postseason plate appearance unless absolutely necessary.
Like they did in Dean,
But for defense, I think that's why he's keeping it around. With Jack Sawinski, for him, he has to be able to tap into some of his power and what the expected numbers have showed for him, and just how talented he can be at that level. And if he can,
so does he need to tap into his power, or does he need to become a better hitter?
Both. He's got to be able.
Which one first, though?
Well, it's the swing and miss that has been one of the things.
So he needs to become a better hitter first.
Yeah, you absolutely could make that argument that Jackson Wincy needs to become a better hitter. I'm just looking for just overall production.
Yeah, right.
Jackson Wincy has got to be able to be a productive overall hitter, whether that comes from power, whether that comes from more bat to ball type of skills. Sawinski has a little bit of, you can make the argument that he has the ability to be able to fit well within this mix, meaning he has the option to be left-handed bat that could potentially be a little bit better of a fit with Alex Call. But also Alex Call, whenever he's been called upon, has been remarkably reliable for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And they don't utilize him hardly at all.
Yeah.
With a lot of other organizations, he would be utilized at least half of the starts that the team has. And they're just not utilizing him that way. So Jackson Wincy, just look for a consistent growth, consistent progress, and see if the expected numbers catch up to himself. And then Ryan Fitzgerald.
I don't know where he fits in, but he's hot, man.
Yeah. The tricky thing is they want to be able to take a little bit of a deep dive in both Alex Freeland and Ha-Seong Kim and what their abilities are. And with Ryan Fitzgerald being left-handed, being able to fit in with that mix and have those two guys ahead of him, makes it a little bit tricky, but Ryan Fitzgerald, MiLB experience, just keep finding the ways and look for opportunities wherever they come, major league side, with the Dodgers or perhaps with another organization.
Yeah. Okay, so the Dodgers, you mentioned the 7, 8, 9 hitters. They got the rally started in the 5th. I mean, those are the sneaky moments in a game where as a statistician, you remember the last play, Coach Old always says that. You forget that the Dodgers started a rally with 7, 8, 9, right? I mean, that run right there, of course, as a statistician, you'll know this better than anybody. If the Dodgers are losing going into the bottom of the ninth, that's an entirely different at bat for Max Muncy than if they're tied. So all those sneaky runs where you get a run generated by the 7, 8, 9 holes, that can, the singles that go, or the walk and the single in front of the home run, the double, that make it a crooked number instead of a solo run. Those kinds of sneaky runs you forget about, but they're absolutely huge. But the 7, 8, 9 for the Dodgers, as a statistician, hey, Shohei, Kyle Tucker, Freddie Freeman, of course, Mookie's out, Will. They haven't been terrible, but they haven't been like their Hall of Fame type caliber players that they're capable of being. But yet the Dodgers are still 10-3. A lot of that's because the bullpen's been very good, other than Edwin Diaz last night. A lot of that's because the starting pitching's been good, other than Tyler Glasnow last night. But a lot of that's because the bottom of your lineup is taking up the slack.
Yes. If you look across Major League Baseball, most of the bottom of the order is filled up with guys that are below league average offensive type of players. At the bottom of this Dodgers order, you have right now, with the absence of a Mookie Betts, you have a Andy Pages, who is by Fangraphs wins above replacement, one of, if not the most valuable player in the game of baseball, 1.2 F-word this season. I don't know pitching side, but I know on the offensive side, that's tied for the most valuable player across the league. And then you have a couple of guys that are doing to a relatively good degree, both Kim and Freeland, and then you can throw in Rojas.
Good enough. Good enough.
I mean, Alex Freeland, it's above league average.
Absolutely. You can't ask for more than that from Alex Freeland.
Ha-Seong Kim had the sacrifice fly yesterday. That was a big moment in the game, when a lot of times during the game yesterday, I mean, how many double plays did the Dodgers hit into during the game yesterday that cost them opportunities? But Kim was able to elevate one and be able to get that sacrifice fly. The bottom of the order.
Santiago Espinal hitting a huge one. He's my boy.
Yes, Santiago Espinal, who's not playing a whole lot because Max Muncy is hitting against lefties, and that is the role that Espinal was to fill in, is to be a right-handed bat.
By the way, you said hitting against lefties, Max Muncy, 455 OPS of 1455 off of lefties for Max Muncy. Let me say it again. 455 OPS of 1455 off of lefties for Max Muncy. Wow.
That's one of the things to watch, because the past couple of seasons hasn't been great versus lefties for Max Muncy. I think it's about an 80 WRC plus against lefties the past 3 seasons. But this year, he's doing well, and obviously, game winner was great for Max Muncy. Great to be able to watch for this Dodgers team. All right, Casey, I got to take off. I'll let you finish off the show. If anybody else wants to tune in or join in on the show, I don't know how long you're going to be able to go left, Casey, but please join in on the show. I got to make my way over to the stadium, be able to go watch the Great Lakes Loons take on the West Michigan Whitecaps, and hopefully Loons can finish off those last 2 games and take 5 out of 6 versus West Michigan, or at the very least win the series. That starts today. I'm excited about that. Dodgers play tonight at 6:10 Pacific time, I believe is what it is. You get Roki and Emmett Sheehan for the final 2 days, so I'm curious to be able to see how they have. So, Casey, great to be able to join in with you. For people that were able to tune in, stay tuning in. Casey will continue on the show. I got to take off, though.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate you joining. Awesome job, dude.
Appreciate you, Case.
Yeah. Okay, so there's awesome. Let me get back to my regular scene here, and we will going here. Let me make sure. Yeah, we still have audio, so there we go. Okay, so I just put the link to the show. If you want to come join, Austin gave his thoughts. You want to come join and give your thoughts, I would love to have you in the show. That's pretty much all the notes that I had, both for the Down on the Farm and the Dodgers show. So really, we're just going to I'm going to be kind of just toiling around waiting to see if anybody wants to hop in, because my beautiful bride and I, we have a date for hamburgers here in a minute. I'm getting ready to cook hamburgers and have lunch with my beautiful bride of 26 years and have a great show, or have a great time on a Saturday afternoon. You've got 4 affiliates for the Dodgers playing. You got the Dodgers playing the Rangers tonight. Oklahoma State is in Manhattan playing baseball, and then the softball team is in Iowa State. So there is a lot of fun to be had today on a Saturday. Also wanted to mention, hey, not worried at all. We talked about Edwin Diaz. To me, kind of a little bit of an arm slide. It was kind of coming out sideways, which didn't get the left turn that he wanted. And, you know, whenever you kind of throw it out this way and it comes out too far right on you, kind of as like you're pushing the ball uphill, a lot of times what happens is that ball comes out to the right and then it doesn't break left far enough. We call that a backup slider. That's what was happening to Edwin Diaz last night. That was his issue. And so I think just a minor, it's never about what to change. It's always about what, a tweak, a minor adjustment. I think a very minor adjustment will create a situation to where Edwin Diaz eliminates that backup element to that slider, because that's what got him last night. And give the Rangers credit. They're a really good team. They came through when they needed to. They rallied after home runs. They stayed with it. They went toe-to-toe with the Dodgers on the road. They're guys that used to play with the Dodgers, came through. Jock Peterson and Corey Seager, although Seager didn't come through in the 9th inning. To be honest with you, this game is demoralizing if you're the Rangers, because you did everything you were supposed to do last night to win the game, other than score that last run, get the 27th out, and actually put it in the scorebook. So this is one of those deals to where whenever you lose a very demoralizing first game of the series, it's easy to wake up 48 hours later after 3 games and play like complete garbage in games 2 or 3, because you still have that hangover. So I think there's a chance that Emmett Sheehan will just go out and execute, put the ball in the strike zone, get the ride and run going, get the left turn of the slider going, tumble some change-ups. If you'll just execute at a average to above average level, I think there will be some hangover to the Rangers tonight. And then I'm going to be just absolutely hugely curious to see how Roki Sasaki handles his next start against this Rangers team. And we have another guest that wants to come into the show, so let's absolutely do it. Chuck Huddleston, what is up, my man? Good morning, Chuck. How are you, man?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Thanks for joining, brother. What's on your mind?
I'm just impressed with what the Dodgers are doing right now.
Yes.
I'm kind of a little disappointed that, we got 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th and 2 strikes on Muncy, and my gosh, amazing. That bat flip was awesome too. That was kind of. No, I check the box scores every night for the minor leagues and see where they're at. And I know James Tibbs has kind of cooled off a little bit. People are calling him, he's not quite ready yet, but boy, he's got a lot of potential.
James Tibbs is going to cool off. I mean, you can't stay at the rate that he was. And sometimes this is why I know people probably get frustrated with me whenever I don't, just automatically just want to kind of, like the top prospects, just jump all over that and want to just hone in on them, everything they do, to where they can't move without Because when you get off to a start like this, sometimes it's not the best thing for you, because then you got all these, I don't mean this to be rude in any way, but people that typically don't follow the minor leagues, they've all heard James Tibbs. Well, why isn't James Tibbs? A couple years ago it was Andre Lipsius, right? And that's a lot of undue, unrealistic expectations for a guy who, to be honest with you, when he came to the Dodgers last August, was struggling, right? And so let's just kind of let him settle in. He's not imminent to the major leagues. He shouldn't be imminent to the major leagues. Let's let him be a AAA player, and let's let James Tibbs continue to grow like he has since he joined the Dodgers organization. I know that take is way too big picture for most Dodgers fans, especially the major league side of fans, but it just is what it is in terms of this game of baseball for me.
Yeah, I don't want to be like the Angels and rush prospects. I've as best I could, because it was hard to follow in the old days, but I pretty much followed the minor leagues since I was a freshman in high school, and I'm 72. But it was hard to do until recently. I did the best I could with Baseball America, different things, and the sporting news and all that stuff. But I want them to be ready when they get brought up, ready to stay if they can. They might get set back down because they need to, depending on the team's needs. But in my experience, and probably yours too, is you want them to be ready. It's a rare guy that can just make it. Bill Russell did it at 20. It's amazing that he could do it, just his natural abilities. And sometimes they need that little bit of breakthrough time, come up to the big leagues, spend a month or two, go back down, work on the things like Freeland did, to be ready. And Freeland's hit, a lot. I've just seen so many people think, oh, Freeland, he needs to be sit down. But man, I'm looking at his exit velocity. He's amazing. I mean, he's really hit the ball hard. He's hit in some bad luck. He's made a few bad decisions, and a few plate appearances, but I don't know what's going to happen because they got so much talent in the,
And Dodgers fans want everybody to be an all-star. You forget, all Alex Freeland has to be is a second baseman in a 9-hole. He's the most marginal player in your starting lineup. Compare his production to the most marginal player in everybody else's lineup, everybody else's 9-hole. He's above league average to begin with. He's way above average, above all the other players' most marginal offensive player.
Yeah, he's doing absolutely what they need.
Absolutely.
That's what he's doing. And the other thing is, Paja should have been on the All-Star team last year, but the Dodgers have so many stars and are going to put them all on there. Some people go by reputation only, even if they're not having a good year. But, Paja is, if he's not on the All-Star team this year, he's going to have a major slump coming up because he should have been on last year. That wasn't right. He should have been on that team. But, I'm impressed with the balance of the team.
Yes, great way to put it.
Yeah, they're what we thought they might be. And, the stars haven't hit. If you think about it, the stars and Mookie's out of the lineup.
They haven't been terrible, but they haven't been Hall of Fame. Yeah.
But they're not carrying the team. Our right fielders hasn't hit yet. He's really not
Tucker.
been himself.
Yeah.
Wait till if he finds his feed and he starts hitting, oh my gosh, you're gonna it's gonna be amazing,
Yeah.
But the pitching, Glasnow's looked good. He left a few location, like you always say. Location was a problem for him. Seager can hit good pitches. You can't leave that pitch over the plate.
Right.
He can. Seager can change a game. He's like Manny Ramirez. You could have a pitcher just pitching an amazing game, and then he can turn the game around. Because Seager's like Ramirez was. He can hit a good pitcher when he's on even. He'll find that pitch and hit it, and he'll change a game like he did for the Dodgers. He's got that kind of thing. But I'm just impressed. The minor leagues are looking good. I see
almost an organizational sweep. The Ontario Tower Buzzers took a 3-run lead into the bottom of the ninth and could not hold it last night. If it weren't for that, it would have been a organizational sweep yesterday.
Yeah, and I think Wardo, they moved him to first or get the outfielder some playing time and maybe situate him to maybe for a trade because he looks a little bit mechanical there and a little bit stiff. But I think it's just he needs to play there for a while. But that was an interesting move to see him at first base most of the time.
Yeah, he played quite a bit of first base last year. He played a lot of outfield too, but I don't think people of course, people remember Ryan Ward from spring training, which was terrible. But Ryan Ward this month has turned back into Wardo. Ryan Ward's been one of the better offensive players in all. Matter of fact, in the last 4 or 5 games, he's been maybe the best offensive player in the system, other than maybe Brennan Tunick. That's how good Ryan Ward has been. Now, it's AAA pitching. I get it. But, I just wanted to kind of bring that up in defense of Ryan Ward. He's all the way back up to 286. His OPS is back over 800. He has a couple of home runs. That's a beautiful swing right there. Mm-hmm. So Ryan Ward has recovered. I get it as AAA. I know most people are going to have their impression of him from the way that he played in spring training. But let me say this about Wardo. Short of last year, he's always gotten off to slow starts, which is why I was so worried about the spring training period being his evaluation part, the period for him to be evaluated, because he never gets off to good starts. And so I think that was a large part of it. But Ryan Ward, he's recovered. He's a good offensive player again.
I think he's going to be traded now. I don't know when he's going to be traded. I think he'll be traded for prospects unless they package him. And the reason I think he'll be traded now is because now the Dodgers have other outfielders that can fill that spot if they need.
I hope he's traded.
I do too. I mean, I don't know that he will be. I'm just thinking he will be.
I say just DFA the guy, and while he's DFA'd, trade him. I mean, trade him in the DFA process. That's what I say.
When they need that 40-man roster spot and they can't get it with a injury for a 60-day injury, that's maybe when you might see a trade. I'm sure they probably talked to some people about him, and when one of these teams needs an outfielder or first baseman, and I think he'll do well. I mean, but as long as they give him a chance and don't just set him on the bench. You got to play. These guys, when they're brought up, if they don't play, I mean, they need rhythm and they need their timing. And if you bring a kid up and just set him on the bench, it's a rare person that's going to hit.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, so what has impressed you most about, I know you follow him pretty close, what's impressed you, what player, team, whatever it may be, what other than the ONT field there in Ontario? That's impressive. That's the most impressive part of anything about the Dodgers system to the start of this season. What's impressed you the most about what's happened in the minor leagues?
Copen's like amazing. I mean, especially with what he went through. I just think that, and I didn't realize Tavling was a free agent signing with the Dodgers. But the Dodgers, they don't go to the scouting system and use what everybody uses. They scout their own players, and so they're going to find these guys, and they have quality scouts. So I'm like that, and how many of them that throw so hard? And I want to see what Ferris is going to do. Because he's still pretty limited in what we've seen of him. And then what's going on with River down there? I mean, I'm kind of interested in how they're going to sort all this out, with all this.
Good problems to have. I don't think they know how they're going to sort it out. I think they go day by day with that.
They're good problems, but they're still problems, but they're good problems, but I mean, they're going to, and the thing is, what are they going to do with second base and shortstop? And when Mookie gets well I'm in some ways, I wish they would have signed Kiki in August, instead of early. That's
what I always say. That you don't need him in April. He's just taking up at bats. Yeah,
and a roster spot. What do you? And is going to keep Freeland and Kim from development. Kim's been amazing. I'm really pleased with his progress. I had thought he was going to need more time at AAA, but he's so talented. He's so athletic. I mean,
he's so talented.
You just how do you keep him down on the farm?
That's my point. He's too talented. Let him make his adjustments to the major league level.
And you don't have.
I'm just telling you, he was pissed whenever he came back to Oklahoma City. Which I don't mean that bad, Chuck. I mean that good. It's like whenever you're a coach and you make out the lineup, and a guy's not in the lineup and they're happy about it. Get the hell out of here. I don't want you on my team. You want whoever's not you want them to be pissed about it. You don't want Ha-Seong Kim to be anything other than extremely pissed about the fact that he's a AAA, right? Yeah, you want him to be upset about that. That's a good thing when I say that.
Yeah, what's good about him being pissed is that he knows he belongs in the major league.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
So I like guys like that know. It's like Robo. Robo knows he belongs. He knows. It isn't like I'm one, because some of them wonder, right?
You watch Robo and Landon Knack. It's totally like Landon. I love Landon, but it just kind of looks like he's hoping, right?
Right.
Robo's like, I belong here. Just give me the damn ball.
And then I want to talk about Roki. I think Roki needs to pitch with conviction. He needs to trust his stuff in the strike zone, because it'll get outs when he's got 3 pitches now. I mean, and the thing is, don't be starting with that, with a splitter. I mean, get some, the organization, right, teaches first pitch strikes, right? And
Absolutely. So they teach
stuff,
get strike one, and then it's a race to strike two, and then you mix for strike three. That's the organizational philosophy.
And he's trying to be too fine. He's trying to be an inch off the plate. Be an inch on the plate.
You could not be more spot on, Chuck. Could not be more spot on. Trying to be perfect instead of good.
Yeah, pitch with conviction. Go out there like you know you belong, and pitch like, because his stuff plays in the strike zone. He can miss, and his stuff's so good, they probably won't hit it. It's so, and the thing is, again, his fastball, got to get that over. I'm not so sure, like I told you about the split, but he's got 3 pitches. That's all you need in the major leagues, and he's got, that slider or whatever he calls it. That's been a good pitch.
Yeah. See Noah Miller in the background there, right here. He has a 15-game hit streak, and Noah Miller's hitting like 360 for AAA Oklahoma City. I really, really, really I don't know how he fits in. You just talked about Mookie Betts and already having a log jam, and we were talking about a log jam with Alex Freeland and Hesson Kim. So I really don't know how Noah Miller is going to ever get in a major league lineup. But this Noah Miller, man, has been – he might have been, to me, his offense might be the most pleasantly surprising part of the minor league so far.
It looks like he's solved that. So, and his defense, I mean, if you didn't have Mookie, or, Mookie being injured, and you didn't have the other guys, because his defense plays, he could bat 200, and you could play him in the major leagues, but he's not going to bat 200. He's going to bat 250 or 260, I think.
Yeah, he's healthy. I think what we're seeing now is his knee wasn't healthy last year. He has no brace on, so he has all those quick twitch movements available to him. So I really like Noah Miller. Let me ask you this too: is Tanner Scott back? I mean, what do you think about Tanner Scott?
I don't think he's going to be lights out in every appearance, because sometimes the way he pitches, eventually he's going to leave a ball over the plate once in a while. But I think you can rely on, I think 4 out of 5 outings, I think he's going to shut him down. And I think there's going to be an outing when he's going to have, and everybody's going to be upset. They're going to say it's like last year. But, I mean, he was a good pitcher for a reason. He's not a crappy pitcher. I mean, if he's got his stuff and he's healthy, he's going to, but these guys, really pitching so volatile, and they can try to ambush you. Occasionally he's going to have a bad outing, I think. But for the most part, I think you can rely on him.
I totally agree. Hey, Chuck, final thoughts. I'm getting ready to cook some hamburgers for lunch for my beautiful bride of 26 years, and we're going to enjoy our Saturday. Wanted to hop on here. I had a lot of thoughts about the Dodgers game last night, so I wanted to hop on here, and there was some great action in the minor league level. I want to talk about Copen and Davis Chastain, the wonderful Loons team, and all that. So final thoughts here, man.
No, I'm pleased with the way things are going. I think that it's going like you would expect so far. I mean, you can't project every single thing that's going to happen. And I know you're working and doing a lot of stuff, so we don't have as many shows. But I know the summer when school's out, we're going to have a lot of stuff and content. My wife and I are going to go on a trip starting next Friday, so we'll
have more creative content. Like I'll be able to have like the hot takes, and I'll be able to have like who's the hot prospect and that more creative stuff. Yeah, beyond just the shows.
Yeah, and I wish I knew some corporate people, but I don't, that I could send you away.
If we can find a corporate sponsor, we can bring on a really cool co-host that would make this channel jump to one of the big ones. So if we can find that, if somebody knows one, then let me know. Yeah,
you're kind of like the hidden gem that nobody hardly knows about. That's the thing.
Kind of like that music artist that doesn't do the mainstream music. You just kind of play in the backyard grill type.
Yeah, I mean,
that's kind of what we are here at Dodgers Daily right now.
There's so many people that know baseball are missing out. Some people just don't know baseball and they don't understand. But for the nuances and the people that know baseball.
Yeah, we're not the Walmart variety. So I think for most of the average fans, this is probably a little bit too much for them.
It's like the coaches that you have. This is a show for coaches almost, in some ways.
It's definitely a niche. But, hey, Chuck, appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, you have a great day. Enjoy them hamburgers.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you, Chuck. And thank your wife for loaning us to you.
Hey, Chuck, just thank my beautiful bride of 26 years for loaning me to the Dodgers Dawgs for however long that happens. So thank you, Chuck. That's awesome. She is a beautiful woman. I definitely outkick my coverage there.
Yeah, that's a special person that allows that to happen for sure.
Yeah, she definitely is. Thank you, Chuck.
You take care.
All right, brother.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, there's Chuck Huddleston. As always, just an absolute complete rock star. Thank you, Austin, for calling in on your way to the Loons games. If we have time, we're going to try to make these Saturday morning shows maybe a thing if I'm not at the farm or doing whatever. But the Saturday morning shows will be like if I have, if ever, like today, everything kind of fell through, so I did have time. So mainly just turn on your notifications. When they ding, come in and hop in and join the live chat like we did today. We had a wonderful crowd today. So, hey, that's going to do it for Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network for today. What a wonderful crowd we had. Again, thank you to Austin. Thank you for Chuck for joining. And thank you to all of you wonderful Dodgers dogs out there. So until next time, as always, never forget, it's a great day to be a Dodger.